Hello again and welcome to part 3 of our small business training course. Now last week we were thinking about getting started, so some of the lessons from last week were things like starting small, calculating the cost of setting up the business in the first place, asking ourselves whether it was a service business that we wanted to run or whether it was going to be a sales business selling things. And also we were asking the question, is the business going to be feasible? Is it something that we can get off the ground, or do we need to rethink? So this week we're going to take a little bit more time to think a bit more carefully through what the startup costs are going to be. We'll take some time to think about that with an example that I'm going to use. And then once we've done that, we're going to think about the weekly costs, the running costs, the expenditure, the things that you have to pay out every week to keep your business running. We'll have a think about income and expenditure. And as you might have guessed, very naturally, that will lead on to us thinking about profit as well. So let's have a think about a business as by way of an example, as an illustration. And this is an example that we've used before. So I want you to think about setting up a porridge shop, selling cups of porridge on the street. And if we think about some of the costs associated with setting that up for the first time, there are things that we need to buy, like a cooker, a pan, some cups so that we can offer the porridge. Then there are going to be other things to actually make the porridge, things like maize flour. We need to get water, sugar, and also we need to think about how we're going to cook the porridge, how we're going to heat it. And of course we may well need charcoal for that if we haven't got a cooker that uses electricity. So in the slide that you see, you'll see that we've got some example costs in Kenyan shillings of all of those things. I'm not sure that they're all exactly right, but they're probably good enough for a guide. And having a look at those, they come to a total of 8,750 shillings. So in other words, to get our business going for the first time, we're going to need to have 8,750 shillings because we need to buy all of those things on that list. Now, once we've got our business going, there are going to be some ongoing costs. There are going to be costs that we have to pay out every week, probably. And in the case of our porridge shop, these are going to be things like the items that you see on the screen now. So we're going to have to buy maize flour, we're going to have to buy water, we're going to have to buy sugar, and we're going to have to buy charcoal so that we can keep doing the cooking. Now, again, with our example, if you add all those things up, it looks like that we will need to spend every week around 1,750 shillings. So at this point, we know what our one-off startup costs are, and we now know what our weekly costs are. So let's think about, that was all about costs, that was all about expenditure, all about money going out, things we need to purchase, things we need to buy. So on this slide, you will see that the first line is 1,750 shillings. So that's the weekly cost. So I'm assuming here that we have already set up our business, we've already bought our cups and everything else, and now the business is running. Our weekly cost is going to be around 1,750 shillings. So let's have a think about what we might earn, how much money we might earn. So in this example, we're suggesting that we might sell 50 cups of porridge a day, That means if we're working 7 days a week, that means 350 cups of porridge are being sold every week. And if we are selling our porridge at a price of 10 shillings a cup, that then means we're earning 3,500 shillings every week, which is great, because that means that our income, the money that we're getting in, is greater than our expenditure. And that's an important thing for a business. So just summarising that, so our profit is the amount of money that we earn every week minus the amount of money that we have to spend out every week in keeping the business running. And in this example, the profit that we're making is 1,750 shillings. Now, it could be actually that as you think through your business, as you think through your example business, you discover that you have more money going out every week, more expenditure, than you have money coming in, than you have income. In which case, I would suggest that is not a feasible business. That's not a business that will succeed, because you're not making any money. And the whole point, of course, of running your business is to earn some profit, to make some profit, so that you can pay yourself and earn a living out of it. Now, another question that you might want to ask yourself is that profit big enough? Does it give you a big enough income? Because if your income and expenditure are pretty much the same, even if you're making a little bit of profit, but it's not very much, then it's probably not worth running the business. You need to find a business that will give you enough profit to enable you to live and improve your lifestyle and whatever you want to do. So let's think about our exercises for this week. And as usual, we've got some exercises that I'd like you to do as a group and some exercises that I'd like you to do by yourself, based on the businesses that you would like to set up yourselves. So first of all, as a group, I want you to choose an example business, not a porridge shop, because we've already covered that in the example on the slides, but choose another business and break down all the startup costs into individual parts. Make sure that you've got everything covered and put a price against everything, so that you can calculate exactly how much money is required, to how many things you need to buy to set up the business. These are the one-off costs. One question you might like to ask yourself while you're doing this is, can any of those costs be reduced? So if you are starting a business and you are starting small, it may be that you don't need to buy everything all at once. You can wait or buy a few things to start with until you get going. Then the second example, again, I'd like you to do this as a group. The second exercise is, as a group, estimate the weekly income and expenditure for the business, the example business that you're thinking about. And again, do that in the way that we've done this on this training course. And then once you've done that, you can work out how much profit the business is going to make. And then you can answer the question, is it viable? So first question is I making a profit out of this? And the second question is the profit big enough to make it worthwhile? And then finally, what I'd like you to do as individuals is to do those two exercises again, but to do them for the business that you have chosen. So I'd like to make it personal. I'd like it to help you to do something which is going to be valuable to the business that you have in mind, and will help you to set that up. So that's it. So I hope these exercises will really help you think about setting up your businesses, the businesses that you want to start off for yourselves. It's helpful to work together as a group first, and then to do it on your own, so that you get a feel for what you need to do. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.